Good morning everyone, welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Guys, today I'm out here at my quail pen, and this is the little pen that I put them in for 8 to 10 weeks till I get them up to harvesting size. And I'm starting out with just putting the water in there. But as hot as it is, I have to fill that thing up every day. And my breeder pen over there, I've been using little cups like this. And these, the way they work, they have to peck on that little yellow valve there, and it opens the water valve, and the water drain out in there and get enough for them to drink. And I've had these in my chicken pen for going on 2 years now. And they work good in the chicken pen. But the quails, I don't know if they're getting too much feed in there. And it gets up in there and gets on the little rubber seal, but they start leaking and it sits there and it leaks my water out. And I'll show y'all in a minute how it's rigged up over there. I got a 5-gallon bucket I just got sitting on top of the cage. Fill it up. But the other day I purchased some of these new cups here. And the way they work, as it fills up with water, the cup, the weight of the water in the cup pushes it down and cuts the valve off. So it's always got water in the cup. Now, I already put some, changed them out in my breeder pen a couple of days ago, and they seem like they're gonna work all right. But another thing I like about them, when you put these young birds in here, you ain't gotta worry about are they figuring out how to peck on that and make them get water, because it's always water in this one. So we're going to be rigging this up today. I'm going to show y'all the little parts I purchased and how I'm going to do it. And guys, everything I'm using will be in the description below on my Amazon affiliated links. And also, anytime you want to find any of my Amazon affiliated links, you can go to my home page, click on the community tab, and when it opens up, it's 2 pages there. You just have to click on read more, and then pages open up, and there's 2 pages of items of everything I pretty much use out here on the homestead in gardening, cooking, canning, whatever I've purchased and used since starting the YouTubing, they'll be on there. But let's get over here and let me show y'all what I did to my breeder pen, and then we'll get to work on this one. Now you can see in the breeder pen there how they just fasten on there. In these new cups, they just use that 5/16 or 3/8 inside diameter hose to connect them. And I like that. That's how I rigged them up. And I put this little wire right here over the top of them, that way the birds won't try to jump up on top of the cups. Just like right now they spook from me, they trying to run, so they'll get all on top of them. But they seem to be working out pretty well. Now these little cups right here that I had in there, see, they screw on to a PVC pipe. So you had to have a PVC pipe. And it's more to running the PVC pipe than it is these cups with this little flex hose. And if these cups will work all right, I think I'm gonna like the little flex hose right here. But I just got a 5-gallon bucket with a lid on it sitting on top. And I'm gonna show y'all, that's what we finna put together, how I put the valve in it to get my hose run out. The hose just comes down, and that's just gravity fed water. And on this one I did put a little valve here in case I wanted to cut the water off and work on it, but you really don't need a valve, because you ever need to remove a cup or something, you really need to drain your bucket and clean it out ever so often anyways. But let's get over here now. We're going to build up a new system for this other pen. Alright guys, so we're going to start out preparing our bucket in the shed here first. I got the little AC on in here, it's a little cooler. But I just got an old bucket, make sure it ain't got no cracks in it. It's gonna hold water, and I'm gonna have a lid to put on it. But I got some of these spigots here they sell to go in the buckets. Now they use these spigots in these buckets. You can use them for all kind of things, but I think they're mostly sold for wine makers and stuff. You can get 2 in a pack, and there's going to be a affiliated link in the description below where you can get these. And we're going to take a 1-inch bit. I got a 1-inch flat bit here. It'd be better if you had a 1-inch hole bit, but smallest hole bit I got is 1.25 inches. And I'm gonna just come up on this bucket. I ain't gonna put mine right on the bottom, is I want enough space in there when this spigot's right there, that any trash or anything does get in this bucket, it'll settle to the bottom and won't go in that line and stop my little cups up. So that's why I raised mine up. So we're gonna come up on the bucket about 1.5 inches and drill us a hole. And just take your finger, stick through there and remove the burrs off that plastic where you drilled the hole. Dump the rest of it out. And these little spigots come with 2 silicone O-rings. You put one on your spigot, then you just stick your spigot in your bucket, put your other silicone O-ring on there. It's got a plastic nut. Now these you're just gonna hold and tighten with your hand, because if you put a wrench on them, you're gonna break them. They just plastic. Just get them good and snug with your hand. Next, we're gonna take a 5/16 bit and drill a hole about 1 inch from the top of that bucket. And you'll see what that's for here in just a moment. Now we're gonna cut us a short piece of this. I think this one here is 5/16 inside diameter line. I'm gonna cut a piece about 2 inches long. We're gonna stick it right on the spigot. Now these spigots right here is made 5/16, 3/8 of work because they're tapered. Then next I got a little T-piece. I'm gonna stick one of them T's in the end of that. And here's where the hole in the top comes in play. You stick your line on one of the outlets on that T. And you pull your line up to the top and then get you about an extra 3 inches that'll stick over inside that bucket. And at this point, you're gonna stick that clear hose through that hole in top of that bucket. Now, to keep from having to take my top off to fill my bucket every time, I'm gonna drill me a 1-inch hole just anywhere on the top of this bucket. And what that's for, I got a little filler spout that fits on the end of my water hose. And when I can fill my buckets, I can just reach up there and it's L, and I can just hook it over, stick it in that hole, and it'll hang there and fill the bucket. I ain't got to sit there and hold it. I ain't got to take my lid down. I ain't got to get the bucket down or nothing. Make sure to get everything back out of your bucket, all them plastic shavings. And now we're done with the bucket. So now we're going to move out to the pen. And we'll continue on the bottom of this little T-piece where their line is going to be coming down and going to our cage. And I'm going to put 2 of these water cups. Now these water cups, you hook the water line into one side, and then if you want to continue on put another one, you just put another line on the other side. But when you get to the end, I didn't buy the rubber caps that goes on them, so I'm gonna just cut a piece of this line and put on there and like crimp it over and zip tie it down and cap off my end one. So now we got to go out to the pen to finish this little project. Plus I gotta find my lid. I know I got an extra lid laying around here somewhere. Alright guys, so now we out here to pen. And you can see everything I got set out, y'all seen out here, it's under a big shade tree. So I got it where I can just hang my bucket on that, where I'd cut a limb off this tree. That's where the bucket's gonna hang. So next, the way these work, they have to mount on the inside of your pen, and they go into your wire and clip on your wire, and you put this little plastic teeth that straddles the wire and goes through this hole, and it's got a little plastic nut that screws on the back, and it holds it to one of your wires on your pen. So the hose I have to go in the pen to connect on this. So I'm gonna go on and put my 2 cups in my pen. And these pens here, what this is made out of, guys, I had 3. 2 of them was the same size, and then this small one on the end was just little poultry cages. That back years ago, my son, when he was in school, he done them poultry shows, and we had a bunch of these cages. So I just put them all together and made one cage out of them, and they just hanging from the tree limbs on the wire. Ain't no wood to ride or anything. But I'm gonna reach in the pen with the cup. And like I said, I don't know if y'all can see that real good, but it just clips right over that wire. And this little plastic pen is split, so it'll straddle that wire, so to speak. And you put it through there, and then you reach under there and put the nut on there. And all this is plastic, so you can just do it with your finger. I'm just screwing it on there with one finger, and this, you can tighten it up tight enough because it can't go nowhere. Now I'm gonna get my next cup, and what I'm gonna do on it, guys, is before I stick it in there, I'm getting an idea how long that hose need to be to connect them 2 cups. That way I can go on and put the hose on this cup before I put it in there. That way I won't have to wrestle but with one of them. This hose fits tight enough, you don't need no clamps or nothing, it won't leak. Alright guys, what we're going to do before we put this second piece in there now, like I said, you got to plug this end off. And I didn't buy the plug, so I'm going to cut me a short piece of this hose. And I'm going to just crimp it over. And take a zip tie and put around that crimp. And that pretty much makes me a cap. Now I'm going to stick that piece on here, so I ain't got to try to do that inside that pen. Now we're going to install this in the pen. Hook the hose to the other cup. Take her little plastic piece here with the split in it. Straddle that wire and push it right through that hole. And screw that little plastic nut on the back. Alright guys, now we're going to get us a hose to go from our bottom part of our tee off of our water bucket. Figure out the length we need it, cut it. And we're gonna run it right through there, inside the cage, and connect it to our first cup. Now I'm gonna go get the water hose and we're gonna fill this bucket up with water. And see, with that spigot you got an on and off valve right there. We're gonna fill this water up with a bucket, and I'm gonna show y'all that water will come up this line right here. That way you can walk out here and you can see where your water line's at. And also guys, I went and looked, but I ain't got none in my tackle box. But you can go in the arts and crafts department and buy little bitty beads, plastic that'll float, and put you one in there, and when that water comes up, it'll float up. But the thing is, if you ever let your water bucket go out of water, that bead will go down in here and get hung up in your teeth. So that's the problem with putting a bead in there. I've done tried that before, but if you got the right size bead that would float up and down that hose, but yet too big to go in that teeth, or if you didn't let your water bucket ever run dry and not get in your tea, you'd be all right. So let me go get the water hose and we'll fill this thing up and show y'all up close how they work. All right guys, this is a little piece. I just took some PEX pipe and some fittings and made me a deal that'll screw right on the end of my water hose. Got one of them little water hose valves right here. That way when I want to fill up my buckets, see, I ain't got to get them down. I ain't got to take the lids off. All I do is stick it through that 1-inch hole. And I can hang it there and fill my feeders up while the bucket fills. And if it runs over, all it's going to do is come out that hole, go on the ground. If I did walk off. But we filling the bucket up, we're gonna turn the valve on. You can see the water going down in there and you can see the water coming up. The bucket's half full right now. Now we're gonna have to adjust these cups because they overflowing over here. They got little adjuster screws on them. Alright, the bucket's full, but you can see the steady filling up and overflowing the cups. So they got these little screws on the top that adjusts the tension on the valve, and you screw them down. I like sloshing some of the water out. I like mine to stop before the cup gets totally full. You slosh the water out and you'll see it start dribbling out and then it stops. I'm thinking these here cups is gonna work better than them old styles, because like I said, especially when you put young birds in here and they already got water there, they ain't having to learn to. I'm gonna adjust that valve there just a little bit more. It's still dripping just a little bit. Like I said, I've been using these for 2 or 3 days or a week now over there in the pen with my breeder quails, and they seem to be working fine. At least I got 5 gallons of water instead of 1 gallon of water. But on my breeder pen, I did leave my water jug, set it in there first couple of days until I made sure them cups was gonna work. Hot as it is, I didn't want them doing without no water. But guys, that's what it looks like. Now y'all can see the edge of this blue bucket hanging around here. It runs, a hose runs over there to my rabbit pen. The hose going to the rabbit pen, I just got these little water nipples like this. And the rabbits, they sit there and lick on that and it gives them water. But these things hook up good. All you do is hook that hook there over one piece of the wire and hook that spring and stretch it, and it just holds it on there. Now that blue bucket's got two hoses. It's got one hose coming to this cage over here, and that cage there, that's a cage slash tractor. I can set it off the stand and take it out and use it as a tractor if I want. But if I'm using it as a cage, I got the rabbit waterers right there. If I decide I'm gonna put some quails in there, then all I gotta do is stick some of them cups on there. I already got the hose running, and it's running off that other 5-gallon bucket. But this is an up close look at them. That's the little valve on top that adjusts the tension. You just screw it down or loosen it up to adjust the tension, and when that cup gets full of water, it shuts the valve. And like I said, what I like about these is it's always got water in the cup, so your young birds, when you put them in there, they ain't got to learn. They can just, there's the water. Guys, when it comes winter time and it starts freezing, ain't none of these cups no good. You just drain your water out your buckets and your lines and get you some of them rubber water bowls and use during freezing weather, because these here are gonna freeze and bust first time it drops below freezing temperature. So don't even try that. One thing I did do here, guys, I drilled my fill hole on the wrong side. I'm gonna have to drill another one on this side. That way when I walk up from over there to fill that blue bucket, I can reach right there and fill this bucket. I ain't gotta walk around here to fill. So I will drill me a new hole, and there's what it looks like. Alright guys, so that's how you build you a self-watering quail waterer, rabbit waterer. Same principles for chicken waterer. So I hope this helps someone out. Maybe you've been thinking about ideas of how to do your watering system, or maybe you got a better idea. Guys, please leave comments. If you got a better way, or you think it's something I'd like to hear, please, by all means, put it in the comments and let me know. I love DIY projects and coming up with new ideas. Just like that, I'm not the one who come up with that. I watch videos and see stuff, and then I try to utilize items I already have or don't have to purchase to make as much of it as I can. So please, if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. But I hope this video helps someone out. If it does, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe. It really helped me grow this channel. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate all my viewers. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. Y'all have a great day. See y'all next time.